In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a histogram in Microsoft Excel. Before we get started, I'd like to show you the wrong way to make a histogram, just for future reference. Take a look at this data. There's some data here. And a typical incorrect way that students will attempt to make a histogram is they will select all the data that they have, click Insert, and then just click Column and pick one of these. This is not a histogram. To make a proper histogram, we need to do a little bit more work than just selecting a bunch of data and having Excel make a chart out of that data. In order to demonstrate how to make a histogram, I'm going to use the data found in the book in the Chapter 2 in the section entitled Histograms. This data here is the data that I'm going to be using under example 2. And specifically, I'm just going to enter the aggregate, the frequency distribution for that data that's found in this sentence right here, or these two sentences. Oops. There. So the book says that, this data represents number of books bought by 50 part-time college students at some college. Undoubtedly, it's just fake data that someone made up, but we can use it to demonstrate this technique anyway. The numbers of books that were purchased are 1, 2, whoops, let me title this books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And the frequencies that are given are 11, 10, 16, 6, 5, and 2. Now that I have those in a frequency distribution rather than as a big long set of data, what I'll do is I select the frequencies, but not the books. And under Insert on the ribbon, click Column and select the first of the 2D columns. You can experiment with some of these other charts later, but for now, the functionality is very similar, but we're going to stick with this one. Okay, we have our frequency distribution now. There's a couple of things that we might want to do. First off, it would be nice to format the axis so that it reflects the fact that we're making a histogram, and the limits of each of these classes or each of these groupings should be a range of values. So to do that, what I'll do is I'm going to change each of my entries under books to represent the ranges of values. Notice that in the example, they subtract and add 0.05 from the various data in order to get their class limits, their intervals. We'll do the same thing here. And I'm just going to enter this as 0.5 to 1.5 for the class or the interval that includes the 1, 1.5 to 2.5, 2.5 to 3.5, 3.5 to 4.5. Unfortunately, Microsoft Excel doesn't give us a nice, easy way to move or format these axis labels. And so this is a pretty easy way to do what I'd like to do. In order to adjust the axis labels, what you do is you right-click the plot area somewhere. And you should get this menu. Choose Select Data. And under the horizontal or the category axis label, select Edit, and we're going to choose the cells that I just edited. And then click OK. Notice now the labels down on the horizontal axis are the labels that I just typed in. There's one last thing that we need to do to make this a bona fide histogram, and that is that there should be no gaps between the bars. To eliminate the gaps between these bars that are automatically put there by Microsoft Excel, right-click one of the bars and choose Format Data Series. You'll notice that under Series Options, you have the option to set the gap width, and I want to set the gap width to 0. And then click Close. Now this is beginning to look more like a histogram. I'm going to delete the legend. And I could add a title if I want to. It's up on the Chart Tools layout. You can add a chart title if you'd like. You can explore these options at your leisure. There are a lot of options that you might want to explore up in the ribbon. And specifically, I'd like to adjust the coloring because you'll notice that it's kind of difficult to distinguish between the bars now that they're smushed up against each other. So what I'll do to adjust that is I'll go up to Chart Tools and Design, and you'll see these styles that you can choose from. What I'd like to do is choose one of the styles that has an outline to it. Any one of these will do. But I think I'll choose this one. I like that pretty orange there. Now the bars are much easier to distinguish from one another. Finally, just as for future reference, you can copy charts and histograms like this into Word documents if you're submitting your homework using a Word document. In order to do that, we choose, let's see, get a new Word document here. And whoops, good enough. There's my Word document. Select the chart that you'd like to copy, and then just click Copy or Control-C, either one, and then go to Microsoft Word and click Paste. Oops, there, good enough. There it is. And you can adjust the size and other options. You also, just as a additional information, you might want to use Paste Special. I guess you have several options here under Paste, but if you paste this as a picture, it'll allow you to resize it. Notice how my letters, my words are all running together here. But now I can resize this, and it'll resize the letters, and it won't worry about the font size there. So that's a little bit better. So paste as a picture, and then you can have your histogram right in your Word document. That's it.